I want to talk about something today that's come up a few times in the last several months, and it really bothers me. And I think it's extremely harmful, so I just want to raise some awareness around it. So some people are now talking about, you might see a chart, and they're talking about the vibrational frequency of different emotions. And what you will often see and hear from these people is that shame is the lowest vibration and it's whatever number, and the next lowest is guilt, and grief is below anger. It's a lower vibration than anger. And while there obviously could be some truth to this, and obviously I do personally believe in vibration, these things could be accurate in a way, I think a lot of the time it's being presented in a really terrible way. And I fail to see how this is helpful information, particularly to people who are already struggling with this core wound of my feelings are bad. So if this is you and you've been triggered or felt some sort of reaction to when people say stuff like this, please listen to that, because that's smart. That's wisdom. When we start labeling shame or anger or grief as bad or low energy or low vibration, it creates so much more problem inside the system. Most of us already have this idea that my feelings are bad because it was either told to us directly or implied. And so when somebody again reaffirms this, except in a spiritual way, it's not helpful. What we genuinely want to have happen is that we're at peace with whatever comes through. And it doesn't mean that you love being sad or that you love being angry or that you love feeling shame, because none of those things feel great. It's that you're not fighting them inside of yourself. You might feel shame, but you're not like, oh, I shouldn't feel this shame. You just feel it. Or I'm feeling intense grief. Oh, I shouldn't be feeling this. Fight, fight, fight. No, you just feel it. And I can tell you, being someone who had so much shame and so much I shouldn't be feeling this around most of my emotions, that unlearning that piece of it, that your feelings are your feelings and they're okay, I cannot tell you how much easier it is and how much better life is when you're not fighting that what your humanity, really. So yeah, it really bothers me when I see stuff like this. Just because someone is framing something as truth, or just because they're framing it as something spiritual, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's helpful. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's for you. And again, asking the question of is this actually useful in my life, or is it just adding another layer of concern and shame? Another thing about this is that a lot of these people will then proceed to tell you that if you're vibrating at the level, the vibration of grief, then you're going to attract other things into your life that resonate on that vibration. So basically, the bad things that are happening in your life or that happen to you are your fault because you're feeling grief. Can we hear how awful that is to say to anyone? Oh, you're grieving someone that you love. Oh, well, you're going to attract bad things because you're in a bad state. It's absolutely insane. And yet when you kind of fluff it up a bit with some spiritual terms and some empowering kind of sounding things, then it sounds appealing, right? Oh, well, then I just won't ever feel sad, so that I don't want to attract anything bad, right? And it's so fear-based. If you live your life fearing your emotions or your state because, oh, then I'm going to attract bad things, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle way more than you need to. Versus, again, if you just feel what you feel and you're okay with it, that's the liberation that I think a lot of us actually want. So, yeah, you don't have to take that on. And it's terrible to blame someone for how if someone's getting abused and they're angry, oh, well, you're attracting that. You're attracting abuse into your life. You're going to attract more abuse. Like, it's honestly sick. Yes, again, I do personally believe in what people call the law of attraction. I often call it the law of resonance because I see it as more of a vibrational resonant thing. But I personally don't think it works like that, in that it's everything that happens is you doing it. I think people like to think that because it gives them a sense of control. And a lot of people don't like to admit that there's many things in our life that we don't have control over. That feels scary, right? Just hearing that, just saying that, it's scary. It's like I don't have control over things. That feels bad. So of course, these kinds of concepts of like, oh, everything that happens is because of your vibration, because of what you're doing, it's going to sound appealing because now suddenly you have certainty, or you get to control everything by controlling yourself. Again, I don't personally think it's that black and white. Shit happens. To happen, you can be perfectly happy, you can be totally at peace, and something terrible can happen. Something really scary, something deeply traumatizing, something that just shakes you to your core. And that's not your fault. That's part of being a human being on this planet.